Now he continues to run, finds the bike, and steals the bike. The audience should be aware that this is not his bike and he's stealing it, presenting him as quite unlawful and a rebel. And then he rides away, leaves the bike, and shows the USB. And if I go back, the USB here is quite significant. The way the camera is fully focused on this USB, or this item even, conveys to the audience that there's some sort of importance within this item. If there wasn't, then the camera wouldn't be showing it right now, within the mise-en-scène. Truthfully, this is the item that the agents have been looking for and have been chasing the protagonist for this whole time. It has been revealed at this point what the agents have been looking for this whole time in the final third of the title sequence, allowing the suspense to build up to make the audience think, why are the agents chasing the young protagonist? This is the item that the young males and the white middle-aged man have been looking for. And the way that the protagonist has this item makes him appear as the dominant one within the title sequence now. Before, the white middle-aged man and the young males were presented as dominant ones, as they were the ones chasing the young protagonist. But now that they have lost the trace of the young protagonist, and now the protagonist is all alone with that item, he appears as the winner and the dominant one. Now that he has this, whatever information is in the USB is not clear, but now because he has it, that's the only important thing. He goes into his apartment and he gets his keys out to go inside. It's quite clear that he's in a rush, as he's still scared of being caught. However, he looks to his right and sees the young white male with a gun to him. In a matter of seconds, there's been a shift in power, going back to the young male. And then the young protagonist looks to his left and sees the young Asian male holding with a gun to him. Again, emphasizing the change in power, going back to the agents, as they are the ones with the threatening weapons, presenting them as quite threatening, dominant, and powerful now, yet again. Because there is an agent on both sides of the protagonist, this means the protagonist is presented as weak and defenseless and trapped. He has nowhere to go. He is stuck in between the agents and has no sole defense whatsoever. No exit at all. If he did, by this point he would have been able to get out by now and escape. However, he is completely trapped. Then he looks back to his right and sees the young white male come closer to him, holding the gun directly to his chest, thus amplifying the level of threat that the young white male now has. Previously in the title sequence, he didn't have that much of a threat as he was merely chasing him, but now the young white male has the gun directly to the chest of the young protagonist. And as you see here, the protagonist looks back and the young Asian male punches the protagonist and he falls to the ground, presenting him as defeated. The camera angle here shows that he's on the ground. He's lying on the ground, his face is on the ground, and he's looking towards the door, because that door is his only way of exit. However, he cannot get there in time to reach the exit and thus escape the agents. The blur, as you can see quite vaguely at this point, presents the young protagonist as nearly unconscious. He's losing his senses. However, he pulls up his head, and as you see here, the middle-aged white man appears through the only exit. The way the young male protagonist is on the floor and he's looking up to the middle-aged man presents him as quite inferior, and presents the middle-aged white man as quite superior. This is shown through the camera angle / point of view of the protagonist. The bright light behind the middle-aged man is giving the young protagonist a sense of hope. However, the middle-aged man is practically blocking that light, and thus the young protagonist has no way out. And then the middle-aged white man slowly bends down and grabs the USB as slowly as he can. The slowness within his action by the middle-aged man is supposed to emphasize the transition in power again, going from the young male protagonist back up to the middle-aged man. Then the hand movements of the middle-aged man shows that he is instructing the young Asian man to perhaps deal with him. The action is quite ambiguous. You don't really know what he's saying or what he's indicating. However, you could imply that he is indeed instructing his minion, the young Asian male, to deal with the protagonist or perhaps get rid of him, wherever it is. It is definitely something that contains negative connotations, as he is the villain, and thus he wouldn't spare the young protagonist and just let him go. And then as you see here, the young Asian male hits the young protagonist and makes him unconscious, presenting the young protagonist as defeated, conveyed through the way he blacks out, and presenting the white middle-aged man and all the young males as successful. They have done what they came to do. They chased the protagonist throughout the entire 2 minutes and didn't stop. Their resilient presentation managed to pay off, and they got what they came for. Throughout the title sequence, there's been plenty of power shifts going back and forth from the young protagonist to the young males to the middle-aged white man. In terms of races, there were the Caucasian, the Asian, the black and the white. They appeared as united in their task to capture the young white protagonist. This presents racial groups as within harmony and quite peaceful with each other. And that's it pretty much. Thank you for watching and listening to my answer for question 2.